What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Sick Podcast, Talking Titans. Today, we are going to spotlight a division matchup in Week 14 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sammy, you know what to do. Start us up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. Talking Titans.
Do the Titans have a miracle left in them in what has been a magical season to this point? Going to be fielded by Lorenzo Neal at the 25. Pitches it back to Wycheck. He throws it across the field to Dyson.
He's got something.
30,
He's
40,
got something.
50.
He's got it.
40.
He's got it.
20. 10.
He's got it.
End zone. Touchdown Titans. There are no flags on the field. It's a miracle. Tennessee has pulled a miracle.
The sickest Tennessee Titans podcast. It's gonna be sick.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gents. Before we get started, we're going to shout out our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. The NFL season is rolling along, and the contenders are separating from the pack. Definitely not the Titans. The one thing that hasn't changed this season, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, is the number one to place touchdown bets. We don't care how they get them. We want to bet on touchdowns, and DraftKings is the best place to do it. Here's a reason for new customers to do a touchdown dance of their own. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SICKSPORTS. That's code SICKSPORTS for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Don't bet any Titans. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
And if you are feeling frisky, I may bet the Titans. Titans right now, they're -3 on the money line. They're minus 166, and the over-under is at 40 on DraftKings. So you're feeling spicy. We'll get into our picks later on. But, Vin, what do you think about this game going on for Sunday?
Listen, the Jaguars are done. They're shot. We're almost as shot as they are. But they have the number one pick right now, I believe. And I don't think they want to mess that up. I think they're going to look to kind of rebuild their franchise a little bit. I think Doug Peterson's probably out after this year. I think they're going to try to get a star in Travis Hunter to come to Jacksonville to put some asses in the seats in Jacksonville. So, one, I don't think they really want to win this game from a front office perspective. Two, Mac Jones is playing. Trevor Lawrence is now out for the year when Titans legend Azeez Al-Shaair made a pretty shitty play and went after Trevor Lawrence's head and knocked him out cold, and now Trevor Lawrence is out for the year. So we're at home. We have a backup quarterback we're playing, and it's a division game. Adding it all up, I think the Titans do win this game, although I wouldn't be surprised if they lost this game, because we always say, same thing when we were playing the Texans. We probably should have lost that game, but division games are goofy. They play each other very hard. You don't know what can really happen. With that being said, though, I think after getting embarrassed last week in Washington, D.C., I think the Titans come out hopefully hungry this week if they have a set of meatballs on them, set of gaji, stones, cojones, whatever you want to call them, marble, that they show up in a big way. That being said, I don't think Brian Callahan is some master motivator. I don't know if he's going to be the one to get them going for this game. Hopefully it's one of our more established veteran leaders, if we even have one, maybe Jeffrey Simmons. But as a grown man, I find it hard to believe you're going to get embarrassed and then come out the next week at home in a division game and lose again. That being said, nothing surprises me with this team, but I do think we probably will win this game. We'll get in the predictions a little later on in the show. But that's how I feel. I think we get the win. And, if we don't, then it is what it is. I'm not going to be mad about it because it will only further improve our draft position. But I think we win this game. What do you think?
Yeah, no, like just to say what you're saying. Yeah, they got the first pick, but like I don't think no NFL team is going to lay down. I mean, us fans want everybody to tank.
Your front office and your coaches could put you in a position to fail, though.
They absolutely can, but like I said, Mac Jones, he was a starting quarterback already, so yeah, he is the backup, but he is capable. He has some weapons around him. Tank Bigsby has like 550 yards, and Brian Thomas Jr. He has almost 800 yards. Touchdowns.
He's going to be a problem in the league for a long time.
That kid can really get open. So the keys to victory, in my opinion, before we'll get, like you said, we'll get into picks later on. But the keys to victory is right there, stopping the run one, which we were absolutely terrible last week in Washington, letting them 270 yards when we let up 40 yards to Joe Mixon the week before. So stopping the run with Tank Bigsby, and obviously double teaming Brian Thomas Jr., who can single-handedly really kill us in the secondary right now. So it's just easy going into this game with our backs against the wall. We are at home. We haven't won a home game yet, right?
No. We beat Houston.
Oh yeah, and we beat the Miami.
Miami on the road, and we beat New England.
The Patriots. So we have one at home, but still, it's kind of embarrassing that we still haven't protected our home field, and especially it's against.
There's not really a true home field. I hate to say it.
To an extent, but we're home. So I mean, we have a division game coming up, and the Jags who are basically getting dragged right now into Nissan. So it looks really good for us this week in terms of winning. But there's a lot of things to play with here. Like I said, I want to see Will Levis take off, have another good game. I want to see Tyjae Spears involved in this offense at some point. Tyjae Spears, he was out the last couple of weeks with a concussion. I need to see what we've been promised, that it's 1A and 1B. Put them both in the backfield. Like I said, put one out and do a little Texas route, keep one in for protection, send both of them out for routes, do a screen. It just gives the defense something to think about where if both of them are going out, into the flat, who's he throwing the ball to? Someone's going to be open at one point. So, I mean, I want to see more creativity going forward. I care about being competitive. I want to see the offense keep rolling, especially with Will Levis. If Will Levis is going to be the guy next year, like I said, I'm not commenting on it until the end of the year. I'm just going to roll with the punches and see how Will Levis goes, go on and on. And like I said, the play calling, because I rewatched last week's game, the play calling is not the problem. Just like Tyler said last week, because once he said that, I have to go back and watch the tape too. The play calling is not the problem. It's the players around Will Levis and everybody else. Will Levis is not playing up to par either, but it's the players around him and around the whole entire team that is not living up to expectations, which leads me into my next point before we get into anything with you. Another reason why we are in purgatory the last 2 years is from 2020 all the way to 2022. Okay? You with me? Isaiah Wilson, Christian Fulton out of the 2020 class, Isaiah Wilson, Christian Fulton, Darrington Evans, Murchison, Paul McDonald, and Chris Johnson. All the 2020 draft, all of them are not on a team no more. Okay? 2021, Farley, Ray Dunes is the only one on the team. Monty Rice, Elijah Molden, Des Fitzpatrick, Rashad Weaver, Racy McMath, Brady Breeze. One of them is on the team still. Okay? 2022, Traylon Burks, McCreary, MPF, Malik Willis, Haskins, Chig, Kyle Phillips, Theo Jackson, and Chance Campbell. 18 of the 23 draft picks from 20, 21, and 22 are not on this team no more. We have a problem drafting players, keeping players, and developing players here, okay? That is the biggest issue. John Robinson put us into the purgatory, okay? We are feeling it now because we had a huge group of players that were veteran players that, you had the Will Comptons, Taylor Lewans, Derrick Henrys, Kevin Byards, those core players with the free agencies coming in. Now, the players that we were supposed to draft and hit on to replace those guys have not worked out. And that's what's killing this team. Trying to constantly build a team year in and year out, trying to get an offensive line. Look at the most successful offensive lines in the league. The Lions, the Eagles, they've been playing together
as a unit for 5 to 10 years.
4-5+ years. The constant rotation is going to kill them. I want to be on a line next to you and whoever, whatever, for as many games as possible, because when you build and you just tap an ear as a guard, all right, we're going to double team this guy without even saying a word. You just have that, or you just give it that nod. You get that wink on the line. If you're looking and you haven't played with this guy who's coming in and it's a constant rotation at right tackle, it's abysmal. So that needs to change, and hopefully Rand Carthon's starting to hit on these guys, and going forward even to next year to start building and retaining players, because retaining players is the biggest problem. 18 of 23 is an absolute embarrassment, and especially not hitting on 3 of those first-round draft picks.
Yeah, I mean, it's been bad. I wholeheartedly agree with you. It's hard to just throw a team together in free agency. It's not like the NBA, where you can just have 2 players take over and you could throw a team together in free agency and have a few players take over a game in a season. In football, it's way different. You have 11 different players doing 11 different things on both sides of the ball. So you need to stick together for a bit of time for it to work out. And it kind of seems like we've been throwing together not ragtag teams, but just throwing together groups of players in free agency in hopes that it works out. And you can grab a player or 2, but to throw together a bunch of players in free agency and thinking it's going to work out without building through the draft is just not how winning franchises are built, in my opinion. This team in the last few years has, the jury's still out on Will Levis. I think the jury's still out on Peter Skoronski. He shows flashes one week. He plays well. One week he doesn't. Latham looks like a player. We did not have did we have a second-round pick this year? No.
Yeah, we didn't have a third round.
No. Who we pick in the second round this year?
You're gonna throw that one out for a hoop.
Devondre Sweat. He looks like a player. He looks like a player. But you need to hit on your first, second, and third round picks, at least 2 out of the 3, in multiple years for your teams to do well. Obviously, those 4th through 7th round picks, you might find a diamond in the rough like we might have with Brownlee, but you need to hit on your first, your second, and your third round pick. And maybe we do need to give Rand Carthon more time because the jury's still out on a handful of players that he's picked. But like you said before we got cut off, I don't know if it was me or you, but school went blank for a little bit. I just want to see Will Levis play well. I really do. It's to the point where, we shit on him for a long time. But guess what? Do you really want to go through a carousel of quarterbacks every year? Sometimes you have to get it right. But he, over the last few weeks, has played very well. He's limited his turnovers. And it almost feels like if he was playing like this all year, we could be alive for the last wild card spot, in my opinion. At least in the hunt and playing for something. So more than anything else, I want to see him play well. I want to see him play smart because I don't want to have to worry about picking a quarterback next year. 1, I think the class is very mediocre. 2, I don't want to go through a quarterback carousel again. And I want to see him play well. I want to see his confidence level rise. And, that's all I really want to see. Win, lose, or draw. I want to see Will Levis play to the best of his ability because he has the ability. He really does. The arm talent is off the charts. You can't deny it. It's his decision-making and his maturity that, concerns me a little bit still. So we'll see how it works out. I think the keys to victory for us, like you said, stopping the run. ETN and Bigsby have been mediocre at best for them. But more than anything else, I think we need to protect Will Levis because we were talking about the offensive line. The left side seems to be playing pretty decent, some weeks better than others. The right side is fucking atrocious. It is bad. So Callahan's father needs to figure out a way, because he hasn't done it yet, to protect Will Levis on the right side. And exactly what you said about Tyjae Spears. I'm getting to the point where And I don't know if it's his fault or what the deal is, but we were so big on him because we saw how talented he was early on in his career. He's struggled with injuries a little bit this year. Pollard's having a solid season, so maybe it's another reason why Spears isn't getting the carries he should be getting. But that being said, I would love to see Tyjae get going because the kid can play. I'm his biggest fan, in my opinion. I wanted us to draft him. We got him in the 3rd round last year. And he has all the talent in the world. So on paper, we should win this game. But like I said, you never really know what can happen in the NFL, and especially when it's a division game. But what I want to see most Sunday is Will Levis play well because I don't want to have to go hunting for a quarterback next year.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to
And
echo.
here's the thing, too, not to cut you off. We're going to be picking high again, whether we like it or not. I don't know if it's top 5. It's probably going to be top 10. So if we could surround, our young quarterback with just more talent, whether it's, the receiver from Arizona, whether it's a right tackle, you need to, put him in the right position. And I think we're going to get a top-tier player this year because we're going to be picking high. So I just want to see Will Levis finish the season strong, maybe get a few more wins, know that he's the guy going into next year, and then really do everything under our power to put him in the best position to succeed.
Yeah, listen, I know I wholeheartedly agree with you on that just because of the fact that we've been me and you have been really hard on Will Levis. I'm still going to be hard on Will Levis because you're an older guy, 26. You're going to be 26 years old. You should be able to adapt into the NFL. You've played a lot of football. Mind you, it is a brand new offense, okay, with a brand new head coach. I understand all that. So you could have had your bumps out and everything, but when they came out of training camp, if you remember that interview before the week 1 game against the Bears, I vividly remember it. He said, I can't wait to turn this thing loose and show everybody what this offense is capable of doing. I don't know if that's the quote, but it's damn near almost the quote that he said that. And, man, it fired everybody up. And then when you put the product on the field and do stupid mistakes, you want to play hero ball. And now you revert back to playing well. Let's see how playing well consistently is going to get us.
He's like that girlfriend that breaks up with you and then wants to get back with you, and you see potential in it, but then they fuck with you, but then they're on their best behavior for a few weeks.
Yeah,
how many wish it would go one way or the other.
I understand where you're coming from wholeheartedly, and some Titan fans could be, 60-40 with us or the other way. It's just the fact that we've been so snake bitten at the quarterback position where we demand as fans, when you come in as a quarterback, we want that Patrick Mahomes style. And if we don't get it, we want you out. And it's not fair to Will Levis, and it's not fair to any other quarterback that, eventually would come in. But it's just we are so snake bitten as fans that we are so irritated by the quarterback play, whether it's good or bad. We just want that we want that, that Steve McNair. We want that 10-year stretch where we have a quarterback. We don't have to worry about nothing anymore, and we could start building. That's why I'm so pissed off, and that's why I'm not saying anything to him. He has been playing very well the last 4 weeks, but he needs to sustain it and constantly climb the ladder week in and week out and show me that he can progress, especially in this offense going into next year.
What I think is frustrating for us is that we see what Will Levis can do. We saw flashes of it last year. We are seeing flashes of it now. I think what just frustrates us is that he was kind of getting in his own way earlier in the year. Maybe we were asking him to do too much, make too many decisions on his own, instead of having pre-scripted plays where he knew where the ball was going before the snap to get his confidence up. Eventually, you need to take the training wheels off and let him sling it. Maybe we did it a little too fast. But the fact that we saw flashes last year and we're seeing flashes at this point in the season now tells us that the kid has the ability. Most quarterbacks do, but the difference between the ones that last and don't are the ones that sustain it. Like we saw what Daniel Jones did for one season when the Giants won a playoff game. The other 5 years were dog shit, though. So can you do it at a high level, and can you sustain it?
Yes, consistency.
And sustain it for a period of time. And that's yet to be seen. But I think he's shown enough for us to, warrant, if he finishes the season strong, like you said, hopefully he does, But I just hope that he plays well and that we do everything we can in our power in the draft and free agency to surround him with talent. Because guess what? If he's not the guy next year, then what? Do you hope on Arch Manning? Is there another quarterback out there you love? So Will Levis isn't the guy, and you're not in position to take a top quarterback next year. You always have to ride with him again for the fourth year just because you might have to.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know. Let's get into the predictions though, and who we think is going to win this week. I'll start off with my prediction for this game. You want to throw that up there? I think the Titans win this game 24-17. We get over the 20-point hump. We beat an opponent we're supposed to beat. Will Levis throws 2 more touchdowns. Nick Westbrook-Akina catches another one. Calvin Ridley catches the other one. And then I think one of our 2 running backs gets in the end zone along with a Nick Folk field goal. I think we should be able to keep the Jaguars on their 20 points. Our defense is kind of sporadic, but I think we win this game and we do it by a touchdown.
Yeah, before I throw my predictions up there, I just want to say one thing because just to throw a little spice on it, the Titans are 0-5 against the spread at home this year.
Got to buck the trend eventually.
0-5 at home against the spread this year. So it's not going to happen this week. So, Sammy, throw my prediction up here. I got the Titans winning in an absolute blowout, 27-16. I think the defense is going to respond in this game. I just love how Will Levis is clicking now. NWI is clicking now. I'm going to get into our parlay of the week as well, and I'll explain a little bit more why. And I think it's going to be a Calvin Ridley revenge game, to be honest with you. I think Calvin Ridley is going to go off. I think Will Levis is going to go off for maybe 3 touchdowns. I'm hoping. I think it's going to be a revenge game a little bit after we got the shellacking we did in D.C., which is going to lead me into my parlay of the week. All right, Sammy, throw that up there. So I got a 3-team parlay. It is plus 685. I got a Brock Bowers plus 60 yards. Okay. The Buccaneers defense ranks 29th against tight ends, and Brock Bowers is the number 1 tight end in the league. He is getting a ton of targets and yards in that Oakland offense. Next is NWI to score a touchdown. He has scored 7 touchdowns in his last 8 games, coming off a 2-touchdown game the last time we played. And Calvin Ridley, the Jaguars are giving up the 3rd most wide receiver yards to wide receivers. I'm taking Calvin Ridley over 60 yards receiving.
I like it.
Had to stay away from the teams. I'm better right now with the player parlays.
Nick Westbrook-Akina is as sure thing.
Knock on wood.
I mean, we might need to build a statue at this point. The guy's been here. He's one of the most tenured players.
Listen, when we call somebody out, in the beginning of the year. I said I didn't want Nick Westbrook-Akina in March. Look what he's doing now this year. So maybe we're calling out Will Levis and he starts playing, lights out. Who knows?
We'll see. But throw my picks up there, Sammy. I like the Atlanta Falcons getting 5.5 this week against the Minnesota Vikings. I might even sprinkle a little bit of my daughter's college funnel in the money line. I think they get right this week. I think that just the Vikings are due for a loss. They're 10-2. Props to them. I don't think they're as good as their record says they are, though. And Atlanta is desperate. They've blown their divisional lead. They're now tied with Tampa. Tampa has a home game against the Raiders this week, so that's probably going to be a win for them. But I like the Atlanta Falcons in a must-win spot, getting 5.5. I think it's a close game. The Philadelphia Eagles, I was catching some slack in the comments last week for maybe wanting to be an Eagles fan. I'll tell you what, I might bring that Philly mentality, for the Phillies and the Sixers and the Flyers, but never, ever the Eagles. I never liked them. I never will. And A.J. Brown's there now, so it would be too painful. I do think, though, they beat the ever-loving shit, excuse my French, out of the Carolina Panthers at home. I think Nick Sirianni is going to do everything in his power to get Saquon Barkley the MVP of the league. I think he breaks Eric Dickerson's record. I see that game being like a 34-14 kind of game. I just think they destroy them. Philly's a tough environment. I've been there. a handful of times to see the Titans play. I've been to Philly sports games my whole life, and I think Bryce Young is going to shit himself. I like the Los Angeles Chargers in Kansas City getting 4 points. The Chiefs are phenomenal, don't get me wrong, but I also don't think they're as good as the record says. They've been in very, very tight games this year, and the Chargers are very well disciplined, very well coached, and I think that is a tight game. And if they lose, I see it being a field goal type game, but I can even see the Chargers winning that game. I'm not going to sprinkle any money on it. Maybe if the Falcons hit outright, maybe I will, but I definitely like the Chargers plus the points. Division games are usually tight, and the Chargers are no slouch. Jim Harbaugh knows what he's doing. So those are my picks for the week. Fade them, tail them, do whatever you like. I really don't care, but that's what I'm going to do.
That's it. Listen, you brought up A.J. Brown. I had it on the sheet. I forgot to mention that our boy Treylon Burks is out for the year again with an ACL repair. Okay? I'm just going to throw this little more salt in the wound. Since that trade, Treylon Burks has 699 yards and 1 touchdown. A.J. Brown has 3,700 yards and 22 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you want to talk about making stupid moves as a GM and drafting horrendous players and not building a roster and having the worst trade of all time, you're trading 21 touchdowns away. I'm going to leave it at that. That's another reason why we're in purgatory here. I'm sorry to bring up the A.J. Brown thing, but Treylon Burks came back into play when he was out for the year, and I'm just going to throw the A.J. Brown thing back on top of it. But that's going to wrap up the show for tonight, guys. Thank you very much for joining us.
One more thing. If the Titans, you're listening to this, elevate Mason Kinsey.
Yes, you cowards. You cowards. This kid has given his all on the practice squad. When he gets his chances, he doesn't fumble the ball, unlike someone else who's currently returning punts. If you're listening, you're a coward. Elevate the D3 legend, Mason Kinsey. Yes. And that's going to wrap us up, guys, for today. Thank you very much for supporting us. If you haven't, give us a like, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on all of our platforms. We're going to be here all the time. We're catch us post-game after the Jags game, and we're going to be right back after it next week, too. So, Vin, you got anything else?
Shout out, who I bring up a lot on the show, one of my best friends, Blaze, had his daughter the other day. Little Ellie Rose, she's cute as a button. They just got home today, so shout out my best friend Blaze and their daughter Ellie Rose.
Jeez, you guys are gonna have some fun, huh?
Oh yeah, can't wait. They could be born a couple days apart because my wife could be delivering next week. So hopefully it's on a Sunday, so I don't have to watch the Titans.
All right, let's play for Alyssa and Vin. That everything happens. Very speedy. Well, everyone's safe in the pregnancy. So that's going to wrap up. That's going to wrap us up for tonight, guys. We appreciate every single one of you guys. Sammy, send us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Talking Titans on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.